What's up everybody? This is not my normal kind of video. I usually upload skating videos, but today I actually got a new lens and a speed booster. As you can tell by the title, I got the Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter and with a Viltrox speed booster. A lot of people say get the Metabone speed booster because you know it's a lot better, but it is so much more expensive. It's like $600 or $700 versus this one was $200 for the speed booster. Still expensive. The lens was like, I think I got it for $612, so it was a pretty big purchase, you know. So I'm not going to be talking too long. I'm just going to do some test shots because I think a lot of people want to see what this combination looks like on the Panasonic G7. Right now I'm shooting on my kit lens. It's the 14 to 42 millimeter. I'm just on my program mode on the video setting. So this is what it looks like, you know, it's just normal lighting outside. It's not too sunny. The sun's being blocked by the trees right now. But this is the kit lens. And then I'm going to switch over to this and then you'll see what this looks like. I'm about like maybe a foot away from the camera right now. Okay, so now this is the Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter f1.8 with the Viltrox speed booster. So this is all the way at 18 millimeters. So I don't know if it's getting the f1.8 right now because the sun lighting is pretty harsh and like I just have it set on the program setting like I said. But you can go in the settings, you can open the aperture up to f1.8. Now what the speed booster does, it also lets in more light for your lens and I think it gives you even like a wider field of view too. So when I was actually checking the settings, I was actually able to open up my aperture all the way to f1.2, so pretty crazy. I don't think it's gonna be like as sharp when you have it open that wide, so I think like f1.4, 1.8 would do the job. f2.0 would still be like pretty sharp while keeping, you know, the blurry background behind me. But yeah, this is just what it looks like normally. You know, it's a little dark right now, but I guess like I'll get more test shots in just so you can see like what it's like just using this thing. Okay, so right now I just did the manual exposure setting. Right now I'm on f4.0, so it's not open all the way because if I open it all the way, I'll actually show you. It gets really bright. So this is all the way at 1.2, this is 1.4, 1.6, 1.8. You know, it's really bright. You can use it in low light settings, so that's what this lens is really good for. But you can see, I would say I'll put it more like f4.0, you know, still get some brightness, some stuff still overexposed, but you know, you can mess around with the manual settings. You don't have to go program all the time, so you can get, you know, a little more light in your shots. But this is at f4.0. My shutter speed's at 125 because, you know, the whole little rule with how many frames per second. I'm filming 60 frames per second, but I always export in 30 frames. And I'm at the lowest ISO right now, which is 200. So this is what, you know, that kind of shot would look like with, you know, a good amount of light. Okay, so now I'm back on the program settings. I'm gonna show you the autofocus test. A lot of people really trash this on YouTube, so I was kind of ready for it when I bought it. But I was mainly going to use this shot for, you know, tripod shots like this. I don't really want to use the autofocus too much because I'm not really going to be just autofocus on anything. I'm mainly just going to use the manual focus. But the thing with the autofocus is it can lock on like fairly okay. But the thing is it makes, you know, kind of like a pulsing look before it actually locks onto the focus. And then it also makes, you know, a fairly loud noise. It can be picked up by your internal mic, you know, sometimes a shotgun mic. But if you have like a lavalier mic that's wireless, you know, then it may not be able to pick that up. But you know, it's fairly loud on the shotgun mic and in-body mic. So I'm going to show you, I'm just going to like, you know, step closer to goodness. So I'm going to show you, I'm actually going to step closer to the frame. You'll see it readjust the focus and, you know, if it makes any noise. So, okay, closer. See, locked on, but it kind of made a thing. I'll back up. See, it does that little pulse thing. So that time it's actually going really slow. So you get really nice depth of field. That's what I'm saying. It's good for like manual focus shots, but it's like for this, you see, like it would like hunt for you no matter like where I go. So that's one downside of this. Let's see. See, it's like jumping to find me. Yeah, so that's pretty much what the autofocus is like, and I'm just using my shotgun mic right now. Okay, so now same settings, but now I'm using the in-body mic, so I'm gonna get closer. Maybe you could hear that. Step back. Maybe move to the side or something. So I'm saying really nice picture, but it just hunts too much, so. Yeah, I can just see it pulsing here, so. I'm really just looking at y'all like this, waiting for it to focus. Oh, I guess it's already in focus. Let me get closer. So you can get pretty close to this, still get like locked on focus. That's probably too close. Maybe here. Yep. So it's like you can get pretty close to the camera. I'm like 6 to 8 inches away from the camera right now, so you know, he's still hunting like this. That's like the only thing I say that's a downside with this is, you know, the autofocus is poor. Okay, so now I'm using like a Joby tripod to use it as like a vlogging lens. I definitely would not recommend this as a vlogging lens because this lens is so freaking heavy. But right now I have it on autofocus settings just so, because you know, most people won't set in manual focus when they're trying to vlog, you know, because they want to get all the autofocus. So you'll see, you know, it might be jumpy when I'm trying it, but I can tell you, my arm is getting so tired just holding this thing. So, you know, this is what it looks like. Great quality, seriously, like just looking at the playback. But yeah, you know, it's just, I feel like it's a lot to hold up throughout the day. And just note, this is like on the G7, so the G7 is relatively light, but with this lens, it just makes it so much more heavier. So I would recommend, you know, using the kit lens or maybe some other lens, but you know, I feel like this is too heavy to vlog. I gotta keep like switching my hands, but seriously though, still great quality on this thing. Also, I just want to show y'all, this is at 18 millimeters. I've been filming at 18 millimeters this whole time, but it can zoom in all the way to 35 millimeters like this. This is like maybe a foot away from me, maybe a little less, but yeah, it could zoom in all the way like that. You can see still, you know, really nice bokeh. Goodness, this thing is so heavy to hold. But this is at, you know, so 18, 35, 18, 35. Yep. This thing is so heavy, y'all. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna, you know, maybe put some other clips of, you know, what I use with the Cine D profile so you can color grade. It's nothing too crazy, you know, because I've only had this lens for maybe 2 to 3 days now, so I'm still learning it. But I'll just show you some, you know, extra clips that I've gotten with it, I guess like indoors and some other things, so you can see what it looks like with that. Alright y'all, so this is a test with the harsh lighting right now. I don't know, it's really harsh light right there, but you know, yeah, booty. Okay, so this is a quick test. I don't even know what I'm doing. This is on Cine D, you know, got a bunch of things turned down. I'm about maybe like a foot away from the camera. I'm right up on the lens. This is at 18 millimeters, so pretty good. Yeah, I guess I'll show like a clip like with color grading and then without color grading. I think I'm at, let's see, I'm at 3.5 aperture, 125 shutter speed, and 200 ISO. So this is at f4.0, so it's pretty closed now, not letting much light in, but yeah, I don't know if the probably depth of field is not as shallow anymore, but it's not overexposed. You can actually see like details on my shirt. It's not over blown out. So alright, so now we're at 3.2. Might autofocus on my face, not sure. I have the autofocus set on, so this is what this would look like. 3.2. This is still on the, what's it called, mode, the Cine D mode, so maybe we'll see. Look at this. Okay, so now I'm at 2.8. This is like vlogging style, 18 millimeters on autofocus. It's really jumping with the autofocus, so I don't know how it's gonna be. I'll do like some quick turnarounds, maybe. Yeah, I feel it autofocusing right now. It's really loud too, so we'll see. I don't know. So just to go over the build quality and specs pretty much. So you can see this is the 18 to 35 millimeter Sigma. You know, it opens all the way up to f1.8, but with the speed booster you can get, you know, a few extra stops on it and you know, wider field of view. Just know with this lens, it is super bulky. It's really heavy, it's really thick, but I think it's really durable too. So that's just one thing to note. You know, it's gonna be really heavy on your camera, but you know, I think it adds in that durability factor. You know, overall just a really sturdy build. I'm not really too worried about, you know, how this is made. It doesn't feel cheap at all. So specifically with the Viltrox is the EF M2. So basically what this does, it adapts any Canon EF lenses to the micro four thirds sensor like I have on my G7. And then I don't really know what the 0.71x is. I just know it gives you a little bit wider field of view and then gives you more stops on your aperture, so you can actually, you know, let more light in. So basically when you're ready, you would actually just attach your lens, right, to the actual speed booster, right? So you attach that, and then you attach this to your actual camera sensor. So that's how it would work. And just a nice bonus, the Sigma does come with, you know, a nice case. You know, nothing too fancy, but it is cool that it comes with its own, like, you know, pretty big case since this is a giant lens. So I guess like my overall thoughts on this. So I think this would be a good photography lens. You know, you can use the autofocus on that, that's fine. But for video, I wouldn't really use it for autofocus purposes. I would mainly use it for like a tripod shot, you know, B-roll shots, or if you're solely just gonna shoot manual focus, like if you're doing, you know, filmmaking, because this is really nice quality on this lens, but the autofocus kind of makes it unusable. I don't think the autofocus is really bad on like the actual native Canon cameras like that's made for. The fact that we had to get like, you know, an adapter to go on it, I think that's really what, you know, kind of caused the thing. And the G7 doesn't even have perfect autofocus, so I think it's just kind of like a mixture of those things that, you know, really makes it hard for autofocus from, you know, this going to the G7. So I would recommend it if you just got extra money to spend and you really want a nice lens, because it is versatile, having to go from 18 millimeters to 35 millimeters. You can go from like a wide shot to, you know, a really close shot too. But honestly, you can get away with most lenses. So unless you really want a super good upgrade, you know, I wouldn't really want to spend that much money. So just know I am keeping this, so you can find everything in the description down below, link to Amazon if you want to go check those things out. But yeah, overall I think, you know, really nice lens. I've only been using this for a couple of days. It's a little learning curve, but once you figure out how to use it with, you know, manual focus and, you know, even with autofocus, if you figure that out, then I think it is an overall good lens. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about, you know, this, like how it works with my G7, you know, my experience with it, just leave it down in the comments down below, because this video will be up for a while. So, you know, the older the video is, the more experience I'll have with it, so I can answer any questions you have. But otherwise, thank you so much. If you liked the video, you know, drop a like and comment down below what you thought of it. So thank you so much. Have a nice day.